in their relation with public services, powered by the development of computer networks and digital infrastructure. The utilities, how it has to this citizens portal mimic the principle of the citizen shops, several online public services. So, the second step of our journey was taken. Nevertheless, despite the improved access and greater convenience, public services were still delivered in a somewhat fragmented way. It's the traditional way. It was time to think about ICT potential to transform services and service delivery. Time for the third step. So, one and designed the whole system and integrated different interactions that are needed to establish a new company with registries, tax service, social security, and so on, at a single point, either physical or virtual. Did this system really create an impact? Our journey. At that time, this transformative momentum gained its fourth dimension, trust. Up to this moment, anyone waiting to open a business, not only to establish the company, to open the business, such as a restaurant, a small business, a restaurant, soon realized they would need several licenses. One for the restaurant itself, another for the canopy, yet another for the publicity sign, and so on, before opening to the public. What would be of pre and with sharing information? Looking back, we knew that we were a long way from where we had started. Of course, we are faced with some obstacles along our path, our journey. One of them was the danger of overuse of technology. All the ICT improvements have been impactful and needed. But we must not be blinded by the glitter of digitalization. At this point, the evolution of Portuguese public services, and despite the adoption of the digital by default, everyone. That is why digital assisted service provides entities such as in the backup. We need to keep it at the beginning. This challenge. A design thinking exercise with a focus on customer user experience is being conducted to ensure the new desk, the new service, will be provided in a truly user-centric way, taking into consideration the personal vulnerabilities associated with this live event. Furthermore, the DED of a relative support desk will extend integration beyond the borders of public administration and offer a service which includes private service as well, such as banks, insurance, and utility companies. Another important challenge, and we need to is a question for scientists. Along the year, once only, will not only pre-fill the declaration, but also calculate the corresponding amount stations. Be aware, we are facing.
Rid of all businesses in the ease of doing business. So what would you have to say to the government of India to take those steps?
Thank you very much for the question. I can explain with more detail after the session the systems of zero license. It doesn't mean deregulation. It means a different way to regulate. And our services, for instance, to talk the we measure all this time and we quantify the time saved and to know the difference between the new system and the old system and to have this difference quantified in money, in euros. And the other important way to measure is also perception. For instance, in zero license, access if the perception of the entrepreneurs, because cutting red tape is very important to competitive and to attract new investors to Portugal, and you need to attract them. And it's very important to know if they feel different about public administration. It's less bureaucracy, easier to invest. It is a qualitative way to measure. But both comes. I can say how many companies are created and how long it takes. 38 minutes and, I don't know, 36 minutes and 48 seconds. But it's not enough. I need to know how much I saved to entrepreneurs and how much, and if I change their perception about public services. And this is a very important point, not only quantify, but also the perception.
Okay, thank you very much. I know I ask your permission to going to the next step, that is, okay, if you don't mind. Anyways,
So we can look at the growth rate, at the healthcare and those kind of things. Within that project, we developed some beautiful applications, interactive business. You can look at the map and find the best place for your business location, close to your customers, close to your suppliers. You can reduce the administrative cost and the transport. And we developed that application, and what happens then? Nothing. We had that application, it's called the smart city. They call it a smart city. And then we will say, well, we are living there and our children are living there, so it's a smart city because that's smart children. To guide the. But if you don't do anything with it, we will stop. We don't like it anymore. So I want to conclude it over here. So, we should
paradoxically, on the same in the Danish, it was called digital signature, had 250,000. In the same year, the bank's common authentication system had 2.2 million users. Now, in this case, the collaboration or the co-creation between the government and the other stakeholder, in this case the banks, was not an option, it was a necessity. The following year, in fact, the Danish government, after a tender process, awarded the banks the right to turn their identification system, with some adaptations, into the national eID infrastructure. So today, the national EID system is widely recognized as a success in terms of take-up. Virtually all the population and the businesses in Denmark can has been bank's expertise or resources, but it is exponential. It's also ever increasing because of the network effects that characterize contemporary digital platforms. These network effects have become the rule of the game in the digital economy. And governments need to acknowledge the shift in the power that these bring. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How to co-design. Before this session, I was having a chat with Delphina, the moderator of this session. I found out very soon that she had to rehearse pronouncing my name several times for the last few days. She had a recorded voice sent from India to her, and she rehearsed number of times. Satya Narayana is, for Indians, it's nothing, it's easy, but for her, it's very, very difficult. So when she met me, I said, "What's the problem? Call me JS." So she was greatly relieved. This shows how, what a kind of a perceptual difference exists between, for example, I'm not exactly comparing Delphina situation here, but the way the government functions, look at an issue or a problem that doesn't exist, they try to find solutions. Spending a lot of research, 1 billion plus, these, okay, this is some problem here. I had to improvise through my hotspot, but still it doesn't seem to. Very interesting site, which fortunately opens now for me, which shows the magnitude of what we are trying to do in India. This is the site called ethal.gov.in. So this is from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, that is from north to south, east to west of the country. Whatever transactions happen, they are within 3 seconds. The count is shown here, but unfortunately, because of the expanse of this room, the signal being low, probably it's not able to pick up. But I would stop it there in the interest of time. And second is the 0.3 billion transactions happening, which I had also heads the top 5 services here. A very interesting cross-section of what's happening here, which are the kind of services that are being delivered here. So about the variety part, I will not venture to go again into that because of the bandwidth and time issues. Now, in the state of Andhra Pradesh, next few minutes I would like to spend on this and conclude with what is the possible approach to co-create in India. So in the state of Andhra Pradesh, which is in the south of India, so one here for the, so currently we are core, so it's a, on the one side you have the citizens, businesses and customers in general, the stakeholders, then the public sector or the government and government agencies on the other side. And we have the system integrators, the software application developers, etc. And regulations so that the data is not misused, privacy laws are protected and preserved. And then there is a feedback in the co-creation process. The citizen thinks something will work, but it may not work. So there's a continuous loop that needs to be created. So this is the kind of requirement in India. And we have a few examples in India. The Aadhaar, we have Ronnie explained the EID example of Denmark. And then we have in India 1.1 of IT through an ecosystem approach where the main ID is held by and created by the government, but the actual enrollment process, the authentication process, every day 20 million transactions currently take place and expected to go up significantly by several hundred times in future of authentications. All that happens through an ecosystem of private system players who play to the same standards, who design to the same standards. Several innovative services are being suggested by themselves. More value working on is the India enterprise architecture, which is a kind of conclude and thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much. We are running out of time, but one question, two maximum. Is there? Okay.
This question is for Dr. Satyanarayanan, please. So I think I must congratulate you, your department, your colleagues in ICEGOV. It's a remarkable job and done against a lot of odds. I'd like to congratulate you. And I think we've been at it for nearly 10 or 15 years. I remember when we started ICEGOV. And I'm glad something is matured, something is coming out. I think with the advance of technology, especially cell phones and smartphones coming in, cloud computing coming in, and a lot of other developments in the whole country is awake to the whole thing. What are the next plans and how do we evaluate that we are getting the maximum bang for our buck?
Yeah, in terms of plans, I tried to indicate a little bit in the short time available. But as you have been, this morning, there's a lot of reference to the Digital India, which is itself a very, very huge and ambitious program. So this is to provide a set of transformed services to the citizens of the country, and with a wide variety. At the same time, the attempt to transform. So if zero licensing that the Honorable Minister has mentioned, there are scores of such ideas which become part of the Digital India program. And in a nutshell, our goal is to get there as early as possible in the Digital India agenda, which can be seen on the website of the Ministry of IT. Thank you.
Any other question? Because they asked me to. So thank you very much to all of you. And I think that we experimented here a co-creation moment, but a co-creation in knowledge, a knowledge co-creation moment. Thank you very much.
May I have your kind attention, please? Just an important announcement. All participants of the poster exhibition are requested to be at their respective...
ICEGOV 2017, New Delhi, India. Come, shape the future with us.